Hey YouTube, it's Karen the Motivator. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do plants on the plate segment, and I have something really good that I want to share with you all. First, we're gonna start off with what I have in my freezer. Hold on one second. It's soup. We're gonna talk about soup. We're gonna make soup. It's gonna be the soup and salad segment. And to get started, these are some of the things that we're gonna need. We're gonna need chicken stock. This is my homemade chicken stock. And we're gonna need corn out of the freezer. These are things that I've already had. I'm gonna take that out later. And we're also gonna go to my grocery haul. You all know I ride a bicycle. So I go to the store a lot on my bicycle. So we're gonna talk about what's in this bag. I'm gonna share this with you. So stay tuned and I'll tell you what you need. We'll unload this bag and we'll get started on our Chipotle Mexican soup with a salad. Stay tuned, guys. I'm back. So let's go and look what's in this bag for our Chipotle Mexican soup. So the first thing we're gonna need bell pepper. You can get any color. I like green bell peppers. We use this a lot in New Orleans. Our holy trinity is bell pepper, onion. Speaking of onion, you're gonna need onions. I keep onions, so I didn't need to buy those. You're gonna need avocados. You're gonna need strips. These are tortilla strips. We're also gonna need black beans. Now, these aren't the creamy beans. These are just regular black beans that has been cooked and in a can. Now, you also can make your own black beans. Usually, that's what I would do. And just to let you all know, during the winter time, which is cold now, and that's the reason why I chose the Chipotle soup, because it's cold in New Orleans and we don't get cold weather that much. But when it's cold, I love making soups. For one thing, soups are very light, so if you want to eat light, incorporate a soup into your diet because it will force you to eat vegetable. It will force you to eat a vegetable. It will force you to eat something light. You could also pair it with a salad or a sandwich, a light salad or sandwich. So try to make you a couple of soups. What I did this year, I told my mom to make 5 soups and I make 5 soups. And what we would do is we would split them up. We didn't make 5, we actually made 3, which actually it's enough. Because if you saw on the video earlier, I had 3 frozen soups already in there, and that's because my mom and I, we switch up. Or if anyone that you know that likes to cook or who enjoys cooking, you know, see if you can partner with someone and say, hey, let's make soup for the winter. And honestly, that was or is my diet during the winter time. I just don't eat soups every day, but the majority of the times I will take out my soup and I will have a soup and a salad, a soup and a sandwich, or 2 days out of the week I will eat something else. But it's easy because you just take it out and you're done. So let's finish with the haul here. You're gonna need canned tomatoes, any brand you like. These are basically peeled tomatoes and just in a can, or if you want, you can take your whole tomatoes and make those. I just like this because it's easier, and anytime I'm making a soup, I always do the canned tomatoes. We have Blue Runners in New Orleans, and I love, 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 love this brand. If I don't make my own homemade black beans, which I typically do, and leave them in the freezer, I will leave them in there for months. And whenever I want to make a soup, I would just thaw them out and put them in there. But this time we didn't do black beans soup because we always do it. My mom and I, one of us make a black bean soup. And I just got it out of the can because we wanted to try a different soup. So you get that, you're gonna get that. I will get, oh, also this is a creamy black bean soup. And I'll tell you why I like the creamy ones. this gives texture to the soup. So I have 2 of those. So you want to get 2. We may not use 2. It depends on how the soup coming out and if the texture, we don't want it too runny. It depends on the texture you would want. So if you want a texture that's more hearty, more meaty, depending on what your family would like, then you choose the texture, and then you can decide whether you want to make 2 or not. But this is an all bean soup, so you're gonna have your protein getting in your legumes, and we also have our vegetables. I like pinto beans in mine, or kidney beans, but I said I'll do the pinto beans, and I think I have kidney beans also in here. Let me see. Yep, I have kidney beans. So I'll definitely use those kidney beans. These Doritos, I bought this because it's something I just want to kind of throw on the salad we're gonna make. And you don't have to use this. I may not even eat it on my salad, but I actually purchased these in case you all would want this on your salad. But here is the star of the soup. Chipotle peppers. If you don't know about chipotle peppers, get into it. This, I use chipotle peppers to make like sauces on your burgers. If you like mayonnaise, we love mayonnaise in New Orleans. If you mix this with mayonnaise, put it on a burger. I don't eat red meat that much, hardly ever. But when I want a burger, I put this sauce on it with this mayonnaise mix I make. But I do have a chicken burger recipe that I will share with you all. My mom and I, we do these chicken burgers, and this chipotle pepper sauce on there, girl, people, sir, madam, get this into your grocery list. So I think we have everything. No, we're gonna need garlic also. I'm not gonna show you garlic because I always have garlic. We're gonna need cilantro. I have cilantro in my refrigerator. Also, you're gonna need a salad mix. I have a salad mix, and I also have romaine lettuce. So choose the salad mix that you would like, whatever you and your family like, and that'll be your salad. Just choose whatever greens that you like. And you're also gonna need tomatoes. I have that in my refrigerator as well. And also we're gonna use some of the bell pepper on the salad as well. So let me see. Have I covered everything? I think I've covered everything. So we're gonna get started on this as soon as my chicken stock thaws out. Also, if you like, you can use vegetable stock. I like chicken stock because of the depth of flavor, and as you all heard in my first video, I'm about flavor, and I'm okay with chicken stock as well, also because I made the stock. So hello, motivated people. My stock has thawed out. We're ready. Check it out. It's all thawed out, as you can see. One thing that I noticed, I took out 2 stocks, but this is a beef stock, so I can't use it. It really won't make a difference. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, so we'll see. Also, something else that I omitted to tell you all about the spices and the herbs that we're going to use. We're going to use cumin. So you'll need to get some cumin. Very important ingredient. So make sure you pick up that spice. And you may want to hold on to some cumin. Try to get this into your pantry. Also, we're going to need a bay leaf. And we're not going to put in this aromatic until maybe the mid part of it. Or maybe we'll put it in sooner because we don't have any meat. So maybe we'll include that sooner. And we're going to need oregano. So we'll need dry oregano. You don't need the fresh one. The dry ones go a long way, so that'll be perfectly okay. Also, you can use chicken stock. I probably won't use it in mine because my chicken stock is flavorful, but this is sodium free. So see if you can get your chicken stock and add if your chicken stock is not homemade. A big important thing that I did not tell you all that's so important is we need to look at the nutrition facts on these items, because one thing I do whenever I'm buying something, I look at what is the breakdown of what's in these items, especially if I'm not doing beans myself and if I'm getting something out of a can. So we're gonna start on our bell peppers, and I like to do the bell peppers next because it's the way that we can avoid the onions, and I like to get that done last. We're going to get started with the Mexican Chipotle soup. I'm going to add a little, this is avocado oil. I just chose this oil because I had it, and put a little bit in. We're going to saute our onions and our bell pepper, and I'm going to add the garlic after the bell pepper and onion has gotten a little bit translucent. I like my pot to have a little heat to it, so I'm going to give that a moment. Also, as I stated earlier, we're not going to use salt in this recipe until the flavors start to blend together. So what I'm gonna do, once I add the bell pepper and onion, I will add some cumin, and I'm gonna hold off on the oregano as well, but I'm gonna add that because it's just something that we do in New Orleans. We love layering flavor. So I will be adding my spices and herbs on my onions and bell peppers and garlic, and then throughout the cooking process I'll add more in once I see that I need it. I cook layers, just in layers and layers of flavor, and also I feel like that's a way also you can cut down on the salt. So go ahead and add this in, and we'll get that to cook in and just move it around. And it's really at this point that I add my flavor. And as much as I like cooking, I'm just a person who loves cooking, a home cook. So I don't cook with measurements. I just eyeball stuff because just watching my mom, that's how she cooked. Honestly, that's how a lot of people in New Orleans cook. We just eyeball stuff. And I know that's not going to help any of you all out, so I'll try my best to put the recipe in with approximate how many teaspoons or tablespoons, and it'll be a guesstimate. I just cook by feeling, how I feel the flavor. And you know, sometimes that's not good because sometimes my dishes, they don't come out good. So I just mix this up to get the spices going around. But really, once you get your things in, let your food cook. Don't keep playing with it. Okay, I'm gonna let this start cooking and simmering and getting sauteed up, and I'll add the garlic, but for right now, I'll go ahead and just let it finish doing what it needs to do. So motivated, people. My camera went out. My battery actually went dead. So I'm gonna pick up where we left off. The last thing that I shared was to add a bay leaf. So I've added the bay leaf. And we're still at the part where I'm just getting my onion and bell pepper translucent in there. Almost there. But let me finish my story about my mother and about people in New Orleans. Basically, I was telling you all about the chicken bouillon. My mother, and I believe this is true about most people in New Orleans. We like to do things from scratch. When we make our roux, which is a gravy, we're not going to buy that in a can. We're going to make it from scratch. Also, beans. We're going to make our red beans and rice from scratch. And one thing that New Orleans people are big about, for instance, with the stock, I believe the thing that makes New Orleans food different than most people is because we put a lot of effort into the prep work. We put a lot of effort into stocks and getting depths of flavor with food. And I really appreciate that flavor, and that's why I try to do things from scratch. If you notice, which I will not recommend this please don't do this. I use the knife to chop up my onions, and I do that because I just do what my mother does. She doesn't have a food processor. I have a small one, but I usually don't use it on my vegetables. But with these onions I have, because I should have used that thing. But it's just how you raise and just part of your culture, and that's what we do in New Orleans now. The only canned beans that if you meet a person in New Orleans that they say they would eat is this brand, Blue Runners. Let me tell you, Blue Runners, that's the only, I would say, processed beans that people in New Orleans would eat. In my opinion, if you give them a canned beans, I don't think they'll eat it unless it's Blue Runner. By far, those are the best red beans that's close to homemade. In some instances, they're better. So that's just the backstory on people in New Orleans and what we like. Because red beans and rice is a staple in New Orleans. If you've been raised in New Orleans, we do red beans and rice on Mondays, and I don't, because I've given up rice. Well, I haven't given up rice. Let me take that back. I haven't given up rice. But I don't do it because I try not to practice eating rice. And when I was younger, we ate a lot of rice. I mean, you can't eat in New Orleans and not eat rice. That's why I try to do things. I try to learn different types of recipes and incorporate different things in my cooking style, because for years I've eaten cuisines from New Orleans in my culture, in my hometown, and we just are people that like to eat white rice. So I had to make some changes. So back to cooking. I'm turning my pot down because the vegetables are where I want them to be. And just to reiterate, we put in the cumin already. We put in oregano, and I've added 1 bay leaf. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I can't help it, y'all. I'm going to put a little bit of salt just on these veggies. And we'll be okay. It's not going to be too salty. Okay. So I've turned my pot down, and I'm going to go ahead and add the canned tomatoes. Make sure when you're working with canned tomatoes, particularly a size like this, that you go all the way in the pot, because this will splash. And these are whole tomatoes. I love whole tomatoes. I like it because it gives your food a vibrancy, and I love vibrant food. And I like to see again, I like texture. And let me show you. You see these? I just love how that looks. That looks so nice. Let me zoom in. I can. I'm already fully zoomed in. But look at that texture on that. That is so nice. I just love it. So I break up the tomatoes just a bit. And we're going to add tomatoes as well. We made earlier, you all saw that I did cut up fresh tomatoes. So I want to see how this look, and then we'll add some more. So I'm going to turn my pot back up. And then what I would like to do is your beans, particularly not your creamy beans, but your beans that has just been, your just loose cooked beans, you want to pour that liquid off and rinse them. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the liquid off the beans, and I'll be right back with you all. So motivated people, we're back. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that tomato is cooking in that flavor. So I went forth and rinsed off the beans. You can see all three colors, the kidney, the pintos, and also the black beans. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and put the beans in. Make sure you lower whatever container you're using into the pot, because you don't want this to splash. And just get all your beans in. Stir it around. I love the color of it. Okay, we have our beans, and now we're going to go ahead and add the chicken stock. Oh, just to mention, we never added the creamy beans, so don't add those. You're only adding the black bean, the kidney beans, and the pinto beans, not the creamy black beans. We're gonna add that as the finishing process. As we get to the finish line, then we're gonna add these, because these are already cooked. Basically all of them are already cooked, but we want this texture. We're holding off of these because we want the creaminess of the texture, and that would affect how the texture of this soup gonna turn out. So we're gonna hold off on that. Now I want to add the chicken stock. This is 2 cups. So I'm going to find out how many cups that I end up adding in here in this pot, and I'll let you know how many cups of chicken stock you'll need. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this and continue cooking, and I'll come back once I found out how many cups I end up adding to get it to a decent size in order to get a full pot of chipotle soup. Okay, guys. So we're back, guys, and I've let my soup cook for about 45 minutes just to cook in that tomato sauce with those whole peeled tomatoes. And of course we added the beans, but what I really want you to pay attention to is the texture. You see, it's runny, too runny for me. It is soup, so if this is the way you like it, then you can decide not to add the creamy beans. These are the beans that I say you can make a decision about whether or not you want to add them. So I'm going to add them. I knew I would always add them. So again, lower the can. And I want you to look at the texture. Look how thick these are. This is going to change the texture. Right now I have 1 can, and I'm going to just check in and see how things are going. And I've not added any other spices, no salt. What I added when we began that's the only spices or herbs that I've added. I want this to just cook on its own with what we've put in from the beginning, and then I'll decide whether or not I need to add something. So We have a little reserve in there, so I'll get that out with the sauce. So I'm gonna have that cooked through. And also I want to add the corn in. And I'm adding these things in at this stage because just to see how it would change it and thicken up the soup. And we're almost at the end, so it's a good time to add it. And another thing we're going to add is the star of the show. We're going to add the Chipotle Pepper. And just mix it on. I can feel it already thickened up a bit. I may add the other can. I'm not sure whether or not I'll add the other can. But if I do add it just at the end, the cooking time won't be affected too much because again, those cream style black beans, they're already cooked. You're basically just warming it through. So now I usually put my Chipotle peppers. I take them out of the can and I'll put them in a little jar. So you can do the same thing. So what you want to do is, once you open them, you'll see they're little, almost like, well, these are the peppers. I don't know how they make these peppers, but it looks like they're some type of, cooked in some type of, until they create a paste or so. But we definitely won't put this whole one in. I'm gonna take out, and the smell of these peppers are so amazing. I wanna take out 2 of the peppers, which I more than likely won't, but I do like the juice. Sometimes I'll just put the juice in there without the pepper. You should be able to get more juice than that, but I'll just put that in there. So, what you want to do, if I were you, I would just taste this pepper and see, taste the heat, the taste. You want to get the flavor taste, and you also want to get a taste of the heat, and then make a decision how much of this you want to add. I'll chop it up so it can make its way around the soup. So you want to do that. Chop it up, chop up one, and you may only want a half, and include it again. You want to make sure that you decide based on you and your family's taste buds as far as what type of heat you could accept, because these are hot, and the flavor of the pepper also gonna get into the soup as well. So chop up your pepper, decide how many you want, add that to the soup, and then decide whether or not you want to add that other can of creamy beans, and I'm going to decide whether I'm going to add the other one as well. But let it cook a little bit more and just see. And then after these flavors begin to cook, then we'll decide whether or not you want to add more cumin. Do you want to add salt? Do you want to add any more oregano? Okay, we're going to check back in after we add the peppers, let the soup cook a little bit longer, and see where we are from there. Okay, stay motivated on this. Stay motivated. Okay, motivated people, you made it to the end. This is how your soup should be looking. I actually added the other can of black bean cream soup, so I wanted my texture to be a little bit more heartier. So also, I think I'm going to add a little bit more cumin. No salt or anything like that. Just want to add a little bit more cumin. Actually, the flavor is fine, but I still like to add more cumin. I just like adding cumin to stuff. Flavorful food like that. I'm going to stir this in. Now, The last thing you want to add, and actually I'm going to turn my fire to really low, let this cook about 5 more minutes, if that, is you want to add your cilantro in. And you want to take a handful of it and just put it in there. I like cilantro. You may not like cilantro. You can add parsley to it, but I love cilantro. I'm going to leave some aside because you want to put this on as a little condiments once we put it in a bowl and add other condiments to your soup. And I'm going to show you that as well once we plate it up. We do need to make our salad, so don't give up just yet. I'm just going to let this finish cooking because I want to make the salad when I'm ready to eat, which will be about 20 minutes from now. So I'm going to go ahead and let that cilantro cook in there, and I'm going to set up everything with the condiments and the salad, and we'll be ready to eat. Thank you so much for staying motivated and hanging in here until the end. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward for us to eat this meal, and just thank you for going on this journey with me. So, okay, be motivated. You got your protein here. You got your legumes. We're going to have our salad, and that'll be our greens on the plate. And, yeah, let's prepare for this meal. Catch you later. We made it. Hello, motivated people. We did it. It's done. So here's my cucumber water. I keep a cucumber water with mint in the refrigerator all the time. If you want to start drinking water, this is the way to do it. We're going to talk about that. Give me time to get to that. Here's our greens on the plate. It's just a mixed salad and with red onions, tomatoes, spinach, and we have romaines in there. Guys, here's the star. Let me see if you can see this. Wow. I have a picture included in the video. And what you want to do is just squeeze over some lime. And you're done. And I would suggest also that you prepare all your condiments. Let me show you what I did. So I prepared this, and I always do this whenever I have a variety of food items that I want to include. So that just makes it easier when you're putting together your meal. Also, I chopped up an avocado, which I have in the soup. So I hope you all enjoy the meal. Leave me a comment. Also, I'm going to put the directions and measurements in as much as I possibly can. Again, I don't measure food, but for the sake of you all who want to make this particular recipe, I'm going to include it. Also, just a note, I did add another chipotle pepper, and here's why. After all of the flavors fused in and I turned it off, I tasted the soup and I was like, it's not that, I don't taste that chipotle is coming through. So I added 1 full chipotle pepper. Here's the thing. Do not add another whole one if you do not like heat. Do a half one or a quarter one because it takes it up another notch with the heat. But the chipotle does come through. And you'll still get the chipotle if you do a half. So do that. I also sprinkled in I think a teaspoon more of salt. So again, salt is something that you have to decide for yourself. So if yours needs salt, put more salt in it. So thank you so much for taking this cooking journey with me. I am going to bless this food and eat and enjoy the rest of my day. Be motivated to make this. This is a good, healthy meal, and it's superb for cold weather. Okay, guys. Be motivated for the rest of your week. See you next time.